Live from Blairstown, New Jersey, we welcome you inside the Blair Academy for this presentation of Blair basketball here on Strive TV. My name is Joe Vasile alongside Tom Monfoletto. We welcome you in for what should be a very good matchup here this evening, Tom, as Blair will be taking on the St. Anthony Friars.
Yeah, it's a 7-3 Blair team that had some struggles in the beginning of the year. They got some people healthy. Donovan Wright back in the lineup, and they're set to take on one of the nation's best, number 2 ranked team in the country, in the state. In St. Anthony's, coming in at 6-1. Only loss coming in a 3-point loss to Roselle Catholic, is one of the best teams New Jersey has probably seen in quite some time. Really, really well-coached team. Obviously, a very good team. This should be a great matchup. Everybody excited. The gym is filled up. You can't move. Everybody ready to rock.
Yeah, it certainly should be an excellent one. A great crowd on hand here at Blair, and of course, if the Bucks are going to come away with a victory today here, Tom, it's not going to be without a significant contribution from their outstanding forward, Elijah Burns. Elijah
Burns headed to Notre Dame next year, really stood up. It really has stepped up to become a vocal leader on this team. He's been outstanding. Last year he had a bit of an injury bug in the middle of the season, came back to help them win a state championship. Look for him to make an immediate impact on today's game, averaging 14 points a game. He is the number 6 ranked recruit on ESPN.com for the class of 2015. Really, really special player.
And of course, another thing that the Bucks have on their side is, well, their head coach, Joe Montegna, and he is one of the better coaches in the Maple.
Sure is. 16 years here. Got here in 1999. Since his time, he's won 7 Maple championships, 3 state championships, including one last year. He has sent 3 guys to the pros that have been NBA veterans: Royal Ivy, Luol Deng, Charlie Villanueva. Countless, I'd say 3 players a year that sign on to play Division I. Got a couple Division I players this year as well, and Tim Delaney, the center. Donovan Wright's headed to Cornell. Tim Delaney's headed to Villanova. And Elijah Burns, obviously, as we mentioned, headed to the University of Notre Dame. 2 outstanding coaches, 2 of the best teams in New Jersey. Obviously, like we said, should be a fantastic game.
And well, Tom, we've met a couple of the players. We met the coach for Blair, but now let's take a look at the starting 5 here tonight. Tom, take it away.
Point guard for the Buccaneers, Matt Turner, is a sophomore here for the Bucks, a new sophomore. Brett Lubreski, sort of another vocal leader for this team. Coach Matt Tegna says he's the heart and soul guy of the team. He's headed to NJIT to play baseball next year. An outstanding athlete. His brother Sean is at NJIT playing baseball this year. He has won 3 state championships in baseball while he's been here and 1 in basketball. So kid knows how to win, absolutely. Donovan Wright will be playing the 3. He is back in his second game since suffering a stress fracture, but he's doing well. And Elijah Burns at the 4, and at the 5, the big tall center, Tim Delaney, who's done an excellent job for the Buccaneers this year.
Yeah, he certainly has, and well, like you mentioned, headed to Villanova coming this season, and all the D1 talent here on the Buccaneers. Also some D1 talent on the other side of the ball with St. Anthony's, with Marcus McDuffie heading out to Wichita State and Mohammed Bendry going to NJIT. We'll talk a little bit more about the St. Anthony players as the evening continues, but for now we're going to take a quick step aside as we get set for the national anthem to be played here in just a couple of minutes, and we'll be back with the opening tip-off on the other side of this. It's Blair basketball on Strive TV. And we welcome you back inside the gym here at Blair Academy. Joe Vasile alongside Tom Monfiletto. Now just, well, moments away from the start of the matchup between the St. Anthony Friars and the Blair Bucks. We've already met the starting lineup for the Bucks in this game. Now let's just quickly run down the starting lineup for St. Anthony. They're coached by Bob Hurley in his 42nd season at the helm. And their starting five is Jagan Mosley, R.J. Cole, Shaquan Gibbs, Marcus McDuffie, and Taurine Thompson. Out there on the floor tonight, they are the team in the maroon jerseys with the white stripe down either side. And of course, Blair in their home white jerseys tonight. It will be Thompson taking the tip against Elijah Burns. And they're all set up right on the B at center court. Here it comes, ball's up, and it's one back, and Blair controls here early, Tom. One of the point for Blair Academy is Matt Turner, as we mentioned early. They average 64.6 points per game. Pretty good pace that they like to play at. They work one down into the post. That's Donovan Wright down low. Double team, double shot. No good, but Elijah Burns is there to clean it up. And it's Burns getting the first 2 points of the game for Blair. They're up 2-0 here. 7.5 left in the first.
And there you see the athleticism from Donovan Wright, creating that opportunity from Burns. He can jump out of the gym, Joe. Look for that all day today.
Thompson finds a cutting Mosley on the baseline, and a whistle and a foul call here going against Blair. It's going to be the first foul of the game. Looks like Donovan Wright is the guilty party for the Buccaneers, so he picks up his first personal, first team going against Blair here in this first half, and that will send Mosley to the free throw line. Mosley averages 14.3 points per game this season. He's a junior, listed at 6'3", 200. He goes up with the first shot, and he sinks that one. Now Mosley trying to even up the score here if he can hit this second free throw. As this crowd just gets on him and is making plenty of noise. He goes up the second, it is no good. And rebounded by Donovan Wright. And he will carry it across here for Blair. And so Blair now sets up. It's Lubreski driving towards the basket. He goes up with a shot, no good. Disrupted that time defensively by R.J. Cole.
Pretty fast-paced game so far, Joe.
Here comes a three from the left wing for St. Anthony. That was McDuffie going up. Shot no good. And rebounded by Blair.
I think what we've learned in this first minute of play is that Donovan Wright is as close to 100% as you can get. He's skying for these rebounds in his first shot attempt here today.
And Wright that time tried to feed one into the post for Burns. It was tipped by St. Anthony, and now it'll go out of bounds. Looks like last touched by a Blair player. So the Friars will control the ball, as you mentioned, Tom, coming into this game. 6-1 record this season. The one loss, just a 3-point loss about a week or so ago to Roselle Catholic, one of the better teams here in the state.
Isaiah Briscoe on that team, headed to Kentucky next year. Silva headed to South Carolina. Real studs on that court. Game was packed. Looks like this one is today. A lot of energy.
And just a bad pass that time, stolen away by Wright, cutting towards the basket. He can't get it to go. And that was Lubreski trying to clean up, but he was also unable to get a layup to fall. And St. Anthony now will have a little bit of damage control as they get it back on offense. Swinging around the perimeter, now driving towards the basket is Mosley. Kick out, three from the right corner for Gibbs, which was no good. And rebounded by Lubreski, pushes it down the court for Burns. He goes up with a shot, gets fouled and won. And the gym explodes, the student section just over to our right here, Tom. All on their feet going nuts after that one.
Big time play from Elijah Burns, an outstanding pass from Lubreski to get it going. Crowd going nuts. This is what we're going to see all day today. We'll take a look at the pass after the free throw.
So now Burns try to make it a three-point play here. And he is able to. So Elijah Burns gets it done that time. 5-1 now the score in favor of Blair. 5:45 remain here in this first quarter of basketball. Thank you very much for spending your Monday evening here with us on Stride TV. That's Shaquan Gibbs driving towards the basket, now dishing off to Taurine Thompson. He slams it down. Authoritative finish that time for Thompson. He's got his first 2 points of the game. Now 5-3 the score in favor of Blair. Thompson averaging 11 points per game, also a force on defense for the Friars. What a move made that time by Matt Turner. Now he dishes off to Wright on the baseline and a whistle. And it looks like a charge is going to get called against Wright. That's already his second personal. So he's going to have to check out of the game, and that'll mean Spencer Osborne gets his first action of the night. The senior out of Asheville, North Carolina, averaging a shade under 9 points per game, coming off the bench.
Osborne headed to Emory University next fall in Georgia, one of the best schools in the country. He's a great team player as well.
McDuffie, a little handoff pass here for Mosley. Now he drives the lane, goes up with a floater, shot no good, and rebounded by Lebreski. Looks to push the tempo the other way. Now we'll hang on a second in the front court, wait for his teammates to join him. Now gives off to Matt Turner, and Turner's going to get whistled for travel.
I want to take a quick look at the Elijah Burns three-point play. Joe, take a look at this pass first from Lubreski and the finish by Burns. Nice, strong finish, got the crowd on their feet.
Yeah, just good court vision that time by Lubreski to throw it exactly where Burns was. And you talk a lot in football about quarterback hitting his receiver in stride. That's exactly what Lubreski did with Burns that time.
Yeah.
McDuffie on the outside has the ball knocked out of his hands by Wright. Now fighting for the loose ball, Lebreski. He gets tied up with R.J. Cole. A jump ball is called, and it looks like the possession arrow is going to favor St. Anthony here, so they'll hang on to the ball. 4:27 left here in the first.
Yeah, that was, I don't know if he caught that, Joe, but that was a subtle attempt at an overrated champ. Might be a little bit too early for that. St. Anthony is a team that does not need any extra motivation, that's for sure.
Certainly not, but as Blair fans trying to make it a very hostile environment, and so far have been successful in doing so, is another turnover here for St. Anthony. We're seeing they're not really that crisp on some of their passing here early.
No, and Blair's playing well defensively. They're closing out well, and you know, St. Anthony really known for their defense all these years that Coach Hurley has been at the helm. They close out so well. All the double teams are fantastic. Blair keeps playing at this pace with this energy level and this efficiency. It's going to be a great game for him.
Lebreski with the ball for Blair. Now he backs it out, swings it over to the right corner for Matt Turner. Turner tried to get it into the post for Delaney, but it was tipped and stolen away here by the Friars. Going up with a quick shot is Cole, and he knocks it down for his first 2 points, and we're even up at 5 here with 3:43 left in this first quarter. The crowd getting a little bit more silent now as the Bucks look to try and reclaim the lead here in this possession. It's Osborne on the outside, tries to get it to Delaney. Good defense played though by Thompson. Delaney will just kick it right back out for Osborne. That's right, feeding Lebreski on the left wing. Lebreski dribbles it back out towards center. Now drive, kick to the corner three here for Delaney. A little bit short, but there is rebounded offensively by Spencer Osborne. Blair gets a second chance. Now Osborne spots up in the left corner, a little bit short that time. And it's eventually rebounded by the Friars. Now R.J. Cole takes it the other way as St. Anthony looks to take their first lead of this game here. Under 3 minutes left in the first quarter. All tied up at 5. Baseline jumper here for Thompson. Swirls out, rebounded by Delaney. And now a whistle and a timeout taken by the Bucks as they'll look to regroup. They've still been playing some good defense, but on offense, Tom, it looks like they've gotten a little bit out of their rhythm that they had early.
A little bit. They had 2 wide open shots. They're getting good looks. They're getting great shots, and that's something that I'm sure Coach Hurley is going to address in the timeout here. But they got 2 open three-point attempts, one from Osborne, one from Delaney. We talked a little bit before the game started, Joe. Last year they had they had 3 really good three-point shooters, and Sean Lebreski, Brett Lebreski, and Mike Silverthorne, who was really their knockdown kind of automatic three-point shooter. Before him, there was Joe Hart, who was the same way, and this team doesn't exactly have that. Brett Lebreski is probably their best, most efficient three-point shooter, but as far as somebody that will knock it down when it's open every single time, obviously that's not really here. And I'm not saying that Mike Silverthorne knocked down he obviously didn't shoot 100%. But he was a serious threat behind the arc.
Yeah, Lebreski on the season shooting 38% from behind the arc. That number is actually also matched by Elijah Burns. Not maybe the first guy you'd think of as a three-point threat on this team, but somebody who, when he needs to, can step out and show a little bit of range. And Donovan Wright carrying across. He's guarded tightly by Javaris Hayes, recently checked in for the Friars. They feed Delaney on a nice cut. He couldn't finish. Boy, Delaney had a wide open basket, and he just wasn't able to get the roll.
I think Turner may have gotten away with the travel there, so could have been karma that didn't allow that basket to go in. But another good look from Blair that weren't able to capitalize on.
Hayes nearly loses the ball now. Kick out for three. It's R.J. Cole draining it from the left wing. Make it 8-5 now in favor of St. Anthony, and a whistle here. 2:14 left here in the first. More full court press being applied here by St. Anthony. Taking it across for the Bucks is Matt Turner. He's just going to take a shot himself here from the left wing. Not really a great shot, but rebounded by St. Anthony. Now they'll try and continue this lead and expand it a little bit here. It's Javaris Hayes on the outside, swinging it around for R.J. Cole. Now ball finds its way to the corner for Jagan Mosley. Baseline jump shot coming from Thompson, no good. Rebounded though offensively by Caleb Bishop. I believe it was Bishop who eventually ended up scoring the basket. Now 10-5 in favor of St. Anthony. They're, Tom, on a 8-0 run here.
Yeah, not a great stretch there or sequence there from Matt Turner. Had a quick three in the beginning of the possession and then forgot to box out on the defensive end, which led to the easy bucket for St. Anthony. But those are the kind of mistakes that just can't happen when you're playing such a good team.
Now Elijah Burns momentarily lost the ball, but they say it went out of bounds. Last touch by the Friars. So Blair hangs on to it. Minute 25 left here in the first quarter. 10-5 to score in favor of St. Anthony. That's Burns down low. Triple teamed as he went up with it. Bucket, of course, no good, but he'll head to the free throw line and take a couple of foul shots. He's already hit one from there today.
So you said Burns headed to Notre Dame next year. Had a big win a couple weeks ago against the University of North Carolina.
It's good on the first. You know, Notre Dame's always one of those teams that's they're good. They'll come up with a win like that against a Carolina or against a Duke, but they're, at least it seems to me, never one of the truly elite teams, but always right on the cusp. As Burns hits that second one, it's certainly an excellent program to go play for and an even better school.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why they locked up Elijah Burns. Take him to the next level. Joe, compete in the Final Four every single year. How's that sound?
Sounds good if you're a Notre Dame fan, I'm sure. Down low, it's Marcus McDuffie.
And that's good defense there by John Noel. Noel's an interesting story too, Joe. Really kind of earned his way here his senior year, has worked his butt off for 4 years here at Blair. He's headed to Emory University next year to continue his education and his basketball playing career. But Coach Mantegna speaks very, very highly of him. Said he's kind of been through a ton here at Blair. Didn't really play that much last year, was injured as a sophomore. Has really come on nicely as a senior.
Yeah. Native of Riverdale, Georgia, also come a long way to come to Blair. Nice crossover move by Hayes that time. He dishes off down the right wing to R.J. Cole. Cole's being guarded by Spencer Osborne as he passes one to the corner. Now it's a return feed. 40 seconds left here in the first quarter. 10-7 to score in favor of St. Anthony. Look at the moves. That's Mohamed Bendry down low. He goes up with a shot from the low block. No good. And for the ball, ping-pongs around a little bit. It's rebounded by Elijah Burns.
A nice rebound there by Burns. Good back-to-the-basket moves there by Bendry.
Going up with that shot was Matt Turner, and he was fouled hard as he went up for the layup. Or was he not? And they're just saying it was out of bounds after Caleb Bishop swatted that one into the middle of next week.
Looked like a clean block from here, Joe. So did absorb some contact.
That is exactly what they will call. What a block, though, that time by Bishop. He swatted that one with some authority. On the outside, it's Turner getting a screen set up here by Noel. Turner driving in. 1 second. He's got to go up with a shot, but he won't. And that will end the first quarter. 10-7 the score in favor of the Blair Bucks. And Tom, pretty exciting first quarter so far. Lived up to the billing of what should be a good game this afternoon.
Yeah, it really has. And for both teams, I think St. Anthony is very, very calm. They're kind of going about their business as they normally do. Blair came out for the first half of that first quarter playing with a ton of intensity, kind of feeding off the crowd a little bit. And it took some bad shots, and it led to some really good opportunities for St. Anthony's on the other end. So, I mean, Blair needs to settle in. Okay, we talk about there's a national football championship game tonight. You talk about the first team to settle in usually has a better shot of actually gaining a victory out of that. Once Blair settles in, realizes that this is basketball at its finest here, and that they can hang with this team, and they'll be much better off. Now you're still kind of starting to see some jitters kind of wear off a little bit. Now second quarter, they know that they hung with them for the first quarter, and this is a team that I know that they can compete with.
And put yourself in Coach Mantegna's shoes. What you're saying to the team right now in the huddle in between quarters, what are you telling them to get them to that level where the jitters have come down a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's just focus on the game plan, focus on the process. They come out here for a walkthrough beforehand. They were as crisp as can be. Their energy was fantastic. You mimic that throughout the game, and they'll be absolutely fine.
So we'll see if they're able to do that. Of course, on the other side, I'm sure Bob Hurley maybe not so happy with some of the things that the Friars have been doing. As you mentioned, well, they were struggling a little bit early on with some of their passing, and Blair was coming up with some good steals and good plays on the defensive end. See what adjustments he has made in terms of that. Bob Hurley is one of just 3 high school coaches, Tom, to be enshrined in the Basketball Hall of Fame up in Springfield, Massachusetts.
It really is incredible, and we'll get into more of his career and what he's meant to the state of New Jersey and the sport of basketball at halftime. But really incredible, awesome to see one of his teams play here.
Certainly is. Blair's got the ball here to start the second quarter. They're down by 3 points, and Matt Turner controls. He's guarded by Javaris Hayes. Turner tries to get one to Lebrescu, mishandled the pass, but is able to recover. It's being worked on by Jagan Mosley. Just pass him right off. Lebrescu drives straight to the basket and gets it to go. That was a hard-fought basket that time by Brett Lebrescu. He really had to work for it, and the Friars made him work for it, but he was able to get it to go. Now just a 1-point game. 10-9 in favor of the Friars here with 7:15 left in this second quarter.
That's a big-time play by Brett Lebrescu. And, Joe, you're going to start to see some leaders. If Blair is able to continue this, as St. Anthony calls it timeout, if Blair is able to continue this level of play, you're really going to see who the leaders of this team really are and see them step up. A fantastic play by Lebrescu there to get things going. We'll take another look at it here. Just going all the way to the rack, absolutely fearless as he always is, a true competitor in every sense of the word, getting to the basket and getting it done for his squad. High off the glass. It's a great job by Brett Lebrescu, getting the crowd on their feet once again.
Yeah, Lebrescu's one of those guys that you talk about when, who's a glue guy on the team. Lebrescu's certainly that for the Bucks, not only with the points, but also averaging almost 4 assists per game, almost 4 rebounds per game, contributing all across the stat sheet, and really maybe not standing out in one particular category over another, but just doing a lot of things really well.
Yeah, he fills up the stat sheet in that he has something in every single category. He really does everything, and a lot of the stuff that he does so well, you can't really measure. The hustle plays, diving on the floor for loose balls, leadership ability. He's great in and out.
And as Thompson was going up, trying for a dunk, he got fouled. Looks like they're going to say it was Tim Delaney who hacked him on the arm. Dunk was no good, so that will send Thompson to the free throw line for the first time today. 3rd team foul going against Blair, each team with 3 fouls against them. First, though, charged to Tim Delaney.
Thompson already had a thunderous dunk in the first quarter. And that time it looks like a good foul by Delaney, not letting him get an easy look at it.
Donovan Wright checks back in for Blair after he had to sit down in the first quarter due to some foul trouble. Thompson goes up to 2nd and 6th that one. So Thompson goes 1 for 2 from the line, extends the Friars' lead to 11-9, still just 2 points as Donovan Wright will bring it across. He finds it down low, baseline reverse layup from Spencer Osborne. And we are all knotted up at 11 here, 6:57 left in the second. And Tom, it was something that I had thought of, but well, him checking back into the game now just reminds me of the thought, but it seemed like when Blair took a little bit of a step back offensively in that first half, or rather first quarter, it was when Donovan Wright had to come off the floor because of the foul trouble.
Yeah, and he has an obvious impact on this team. The team did not play as well, obviously, as they wanted to. And we'll talk to Coach Mantegna at halftime. He's very, very candid about their start of the season. And not having Donovan certainly hurt. And having him in the lineup is a breath of fresh air for the team. It makes everybody better.
Osborne gets to Turner, goes up for three and knocks it down. Matt Turner with his first three of the game. And that puts Blair back ahead, 14-11, with 6:15 left here in the second. Hayes passes to McDuffie, driving towards the basket, up with a shot, no good. Rebounded by Elijah Burns, a good job there to pull it down, but as he got tripped up and fell down to the ground, they're gonna call a walk, so the ball go right back to St. Anthony.
Yeah, couldn't really catch his feet there and just kind of fell to the ground. Get the rebound off of a shot from Marcus McDuffie, who's been rather quiet today. McDuffie headed to Wichita State, and on cue, makes a beautiful layup. Wichita State 14-2 on the year so far, becoming a nationally recognized kind of powerhouse team. Last year, obviously, their only loss of the season came in the tournament against the eventual runner-up, Kentucky Wildcats.
I gotta say the Shockers inside the top 15. Now in the AP poll, as that's Tim Delaney. He's committed to Villanova in his own right, speaking of top 15 teams. Knocking that one down for Blair.
And if they can get Delaney going, they will be in good shape. Blair is really clicking here in the second quarter.
16-13 in favor of Blair. Going up with a shot that time was Jagan Mosley. It was no good. Rebounded by the Bucks. They push the tempo the other way. Driving towards the basket, Donovan Wright stopped his dribble, had the ball knocked out, and it's stolen away by St. Anthony. Good job that time by Idris Joyner. They lob the alley-oop down to McDuffie, and he's able to come up with a big finish. What a play.
Goodness, I think he heard me when I said he was rather quiet so far, because he came up with two huge buckets, including a highlight reel dunk right there. That was outstanding.
Blair, though, still in the lead, 16-15, 4:50 left here in this second quarter. Down low, Donovan Wright was going up like he was trying to finish with a dunk of his own, but he ended up getting fouled by Joyner. And that'll send right to the free throw line.
I want to take a quick look at the McDuffie dunk down on the other end. A nice alley-oop, a perfect feed, and the flush from McDuffie. A little bit of a posterization there on our boy Brett Lubreski.
Donovan Wright sinks the first, and the Buccaneers doing a good job from the charity stripe here this evening. They've gone 4 for 4 to this point. Wright hits the second one as well. It's 18-15 the score now in favor of Blair. 4:43 left in the second quarter.
Wright is playing really, really well. High level of focus here today, high level of execution. He is really, really healthy, looks like, and he is making a huge impact on this game.
R.J. Cole, couple dribbles, now dishes off to the left for Jagan Mosley, but a whistle coming first. Looks like foul away from the ball on Blair. Didn't quite catch who was charged with it. But the Friars will inbound here from underneath their own basket. Cole is the trigger, and he gets one out deep to McDuffie. It just gives it over to Jagan Mosley. Mosley and McDuffie, the two leading scorers for the Friars, both averaging over 14 points per game. That's McDuffie driving. It's double team. Dishes off down low to Joyner. And he's going to get called for a travel.
And that's excellent help defense there by Delaney. Looked like he was wide open. He had an open look, and they were able to close in extremely quickly, close that gap. Led to the travel because there was a little bit of, he was a little startled to see him come over so quickly. A nice defense there by the Bucks.
Yeah, you know, Tom, in between the quarters, you talked about how Blair needed to kind of get the jitters and shake those off. And, well, through the first 4 minutes, the first half of the second quarter, certainly looks like they've done that and then some.
Yeah, it has been a very, very good game so far.
Lubreski for three was no good. Rebounded for the Friars by McDuffie. And now Mosley will slowly take it up, get the play from Bob Hurley. And get things set up here. He's guarded pretty tightly here by Max Turner, starting at about half court. Swing it back up top to McDuffie. Now over to Caleb Bishop in the high post. Coming up with an elbow jump shot was Thompson. And he's able to knock it down to bring it back within a 1-point game, 18-17. What has been a tight contest right from the word go. 3 minutes, 15 seconds remain here in this second quarter. Joe Vasile, Tom Monfiletto here on the broadcast this evening. Turner gets trapped. He's got to pass it off. He gets it to Libreski. A whistle, and it looks like a timeout taken here by Blair.
That'll be a full 60-second one from Coach Mantegna. We got 3 minutes and 7 seconds to go here in this first half. Blair leads 18-17. We'll be back right after this.
Back inside the gym here at the Blair Academy. Joe Vasile, Tom Monfiletto on Strive TV tonight. 18-17 the score in favor of the Blair Buccaneers over the St. Anthony Friars. And, well, the Friars, the number 2 team in the state of New Jersey. Blair is a top 20 team in New Jersey as well, according to Max Preps, ranking them number 18 so far. So a heavyweight matchup that we're seeing here on this Monday evening. And, well, it's lived up to its bill.
Yeah, it really has. And I love when teams like Blair and some other teams in the Prep A division, St. Benedict's, Hunt School, Petty Lawrenceville, all those teams get to play teams like St. Anthony. I think it always brings tremendous competition, no matter what the rankings are.
Down low, Libreski ended up getting tied up with R.J. Cole. They call a quick jump ball here, possession arrow favoring the Friars, so they'll take it over. Perhaps a tad quick calling that jump ball that time, but can't really complain about that. Jagan Mosley has got it for the Friars. He gives over to R.J. Cole. Now Rainbow's one back to Mosley, driving the baseline, goes up with a floater and gets it a fall from the left block, and that'll put the Friars back up on top here, 19-18 with 2 minutes, 37 seconds remaining here in the second quarter. Taking it across for Blair is Matt Turner. Turner, a nice little crossover that time on Mosley. Ends up getting double teamed and trapped. Has to pass it out to Delaney, and it ends up getting stolen away. Here comes Thompson, slamming it down with the left hand, making a 3-point lead now for the Friars. And boy, how about Tori Thompson?
It's a pretty athletic play, Joe, to field Delaney coming in on his right, switch it to his left, and throw it down.
On the outside, it's Libreski driving. Kicks, 3-pointer coming here from Osborne. No good, but rebounded again by Blair. As they tried to get it to Libreski, it was tipped by McDuffie, and it goes out of bounds. So it'll stay Blair ball. Minute 54 left here in the second. 21-18 in favor of St. Anthony. We get into Delaney in the corner. He fires one all the way to the near wing for Osborne. Straightaway 3 coming from Libreski, and boy, he was off the mark with that one as it just ended up sailing out of bounds.
Yeah, St. Anthony has really gotten Blair where they want him in these past couple of possessions. Really worked into their hands very, very nicely from the press to the zone in the half court.
J. Cole brings it across. Bounce pass here for Jagan Mosley. Right in front of the B. Guarded loosely by Spencer Osborne. Mosley now dribbles into the right corner. Or back out. They'll just swing around the perimeter here a little bit. Now it's R.J. Cole driving the baseline. Kick to the corner. Now up top for Mosley. Goes up with an 8-footer and is able to knock it down. 23-18 now. The score in favor of St. Anthony. Ties them for their biggest lead of this game. Turner goes up from the left wing for 2, just inside the arc, and he hits it to bring the score back to 23-20. Minute 4 left here in the second. And that was a badly needed bucket there, Tom, by the Buccaneers.
Yeah, Turner matching the bucket of Mosley. Blair needs to find a way to combat this little floater that Mosley has become accustomed to draining here in the first half. Got about 2 or 3 buckets on it so far. Need to be able to figure that one out.
Mosley gives to Shaquan Gibbs, who drives towards the basket, goes up with a shot, no good, rebounded by Delaney. The defense being played that time by the Bucks. Gibbs checked back into the game for the Friars. Turner goes up for 3 here quickly, shot no good, rebounded by Shaquan Gibbs. Now St. Anthony will have it. 25 seconds left here in this second quarter. They can hold for the last shot, obviously, if they want to. See, they intend to do here as Cole has it on the right wing. Backs it out, swings it around. 7 seconds left. Going up from the left elbow was Mosley. Shot no good. Rebounded by Blair. They got to get it down quickly. 2 seconds left. They're not going to be able to get any kind of shot off. As we will head into the locker rooms here, Tom, with the score 23-20 in favor of the Friars. A very tight matchup.
And I think the Blair student section faked out their own team a little bit here because they did the patented 5-4-3-2-1 before. I mean, obviously with more time on the clock, they got a quick shot from St. Anthony, but they had about 5 seconds to get the ball down the court, but confused Delaney as well, so they weren't able to get a final shot there at the end. But a good half. I think if you're going to score it like a boxing match, I'd give the first round, obviously, to St. Anthony, and I would still give the second round, although it was a little bit closer towards the end, to Blair. St. Anthony found some ways to penetrate that Blair defense, Mosley with a couple floaters there in the lane, and obviously on defense they forced a couple bad shots. I think we learned a couple of things so far here, Joe. Number one, Matt Turner's not afraid to shoot the basketball at all. He has absolutely no fear in doing that. Number two, there's an energy and efficiency of this team that occurs when Donovan Wright's on the floor, and it's not the same when he's not on the floor. And number three, Elijah Burns pretty much lives up to the hype. These are two really good teams going after each other. Low-scoring game, good defensive battle so far. On pace to go to have like have a total of about 80 here, but so far this has lived up to every expectation that I had.
Yeah, and certainly I think you hit it right on the head when you talked about the impact of Donovan Wright. Having him back healthy and on the court contributing has really made a difference, and you can see it just in the way that the Bucks have played both offensively and defensively when Wright has been on the court tonight versus him being on the bench tonight. It's almost like night and day. When he's out there, they're playing well, they're playing cohesively, they're getting things to fall. When he's not, though, it's coming a little bit tougher, and that's when you start to see St. Anthony close the gap and then take these leads.
And for the first semester, Donovan Wright was out. He was out of the lineup. He was injured. He had a stress fracture in his foot, and he is back, and he's playing better than ever. And I was able to visit with Coach Mantegna a couple weeks ago to discuss the season so far, kind of what his expectations were, what needed to happen for Blair to get over the hump, because they struggled a little bit. They got blown out by Roselle Catholic. I mean, make no bones about it. They were down by 40 at one point, wound up losing by about 30, and he kind of questioned the team's toughness a little bit at the end of games. They didn't really have to face this adversity last year. Last year they had a really, really old and experienced team, which he talks about, and they graduated 9 seniors, I believe, that are off to college doing great things. You have Brett Jolly, who's at St. Louis. You have Mariel Shayak, who's playing getting decent minutes for number 2 ranked Virginia. Mike Silverthorne, who's at Randolph-Macon. Kevin Seymour, who's at Central Connecticut. And losing those guys, and Sean Lubreski, obviously, who we mentioned earlier, losing those guys was a bit of a bigger deal than I think he thought it was going to be, because he knew they had a ton of talent. Working them out in the fall, everybody knew there was a ton of talent and that this team potentially could be even better than last year's team. But they have a long road to head, and he talked about that with some pretty great candor.
We've been kind of learning all winter this year about what maybe we underappreciated about last year. That team was very old, 9 seniors. They had logged a lot of wins and they'd gone through a lot of hardship together. And I think I may have undervalued how sort of game toughened and game ready they were by the time they were at the end of their senior year. The veteran leadership we had from that group and the trust level that they had built up between them was a real separating factor, and it's something we're still working on with this team. We thought we'd be a little further ahead with this team at this point, and we're not there yet. This group has a lot to prove. We did a lot of talking in the fall about how good we thought we could be, and then we've had a few injuries, and we've not been nearly the team we want to be. So by the time you guys see us, we'll see if we can kind of get this group to gel and be further along. We're disappointed so far with our first semester, but obviously there's 7 weeks to go, and we're trying to get the ship righted right now. Elijah Burns is a tremendous leader. He's our foreman, and this is his second year at Blair. He's off to Notre Dame next year. He's been kind of our vocal leader. And I think Brett Lebreski, who's a 4-year guy for us, and played great in the state championship last year. He's won 3 baseball state championships already. He's been a real sort of heart and soul leader of our team. He's the guy that just brings it and competes every minute of every game, and he's becoming more verbal as well. Those 2 guys need to sort of lead us. What's been great for John Noel and our postgraduate Spencer Osborne, they're guys who started. Spencer started every game, and John started multiple games and played huge minutes. They've both been recruited to go play at Emory and Atlanta next year, so their college stuff has worked out. John has really paid his dues. He's a 4-year guy here. He's been here since a freshman. He got hurt as a sophomore. He didn't play much as a junior. And for him to get to play so many minutes here in the first semester has been great for his development, and ultimately will be really good for our team because he's gotten some real game minutes under his belt. I think we've underachieved to this point, and I am completely unwilling to change my very high expectations for this team. And I think the kids have a very high expectation for themselves this year. We talked about it last year that we expected to win a state championship, and we did. And the expectation is that this team can be even better than that team. Now, we have a lot of work to do, and we have not proven that on the court yet. So right now, that is just strictly talk. And when you see us here another week, we'll be playing the number 2 team in the state. And if we don't bring it against St. Anthony's, we'll be humbled again. Because they're they're the best coach team in New Jersey and a very talented team to boot. But our expectations have not lowered. We're disappointed right now, but our goals are lofty, and we're going to push forward. And it's a marathon, not a sprint. And by February, we want to be there.
As we welcome you back into the halftime show, Joe Vasile alongside Tom Monfiletto here on Strive TV this evening. And why don't you take a look at some of the highlight plays of that first half, Tom? Why don't you take it away?
Yeah, we'll take a look at some of the high-flying plays here. See the left-handed dunk on the breakaway from Folson, which was outstanding. A little bit before that, you had the breakaway dunk, the alley-oop to McDuffie, and you've seen just a ton of athleticism on display here. It's a very athletic Buccaneer team this year, and then obviously it's a very athletic St. Anthony's team, as is usually the case here. But you have 2 very, very good defenses, 2 very, very well-coached teams here playing against one another. Coach Mantegna, we heard him there. He was very, very honest about the beginning of the season and how he questioned some of the toughness and cohesiveness of the unit this year. But I think he's very, very confident that they can figure it out. And I think that they've shown it in these past 2 games and their 2 victories, one over Lawrenceville, a Maple team, a Maple rival. I think they've shown that they pretty much have all but righted the ship a little bit. And he says at the end, very, very stoically, that he will never stray from what his high expectations were before the beginning of the season. And that was to repeat as state champions and grab a Maple championship as well.
Well, sorry, Tom, but I was going to say part of building a successful program like he's been able to do here at Blair is having those high expectations. And, of course, speaking of building a successful program, there's the guy on the other bench, and that's Bob Hurley for St. Anthony.
Absolutely. And what more can you say about him that hasn't really even been said already or covered in a PBS documentary or a best-selling book? But talking about somebody that has won 27 state championships as a coach, 25 as a head coach. They had won 8 state championships in a row from 1983 to 1991, 4 national titles. During that span, the team with his son, Bobby Hurley, in 1989 was undefeated. They won the first Tournament of Champions. They were first in the nation in USA Today. They've won the most recent state championship in 2008, 2009, or 2007, 2008. They were undefeated. 03, 04, they were undefeated. That team with Bobby Hurley, his son, who went on to play at Duke and win, by the way, 2 national championships. And he's now the head coach of the University of Buffalo, where they are off to a great start. I believe they're 10-4 to start the year. That team, said to be one of the best teams in the history of high school basketball, rattled off 50 straight wins. And year in and year out, the team competes at a very, very high level. We're privileged to be able to see it here today in our coverage of Blair Academy athletics. And being able to bring Blair to the forefront as well, because I think Blair has been as competitive in the 16 years that Joe Mantegna has been here.
Yeah, I really don't think that you could ask for a better coaching matchup and just kind of some of the minds that you've got on the bench than between these 2 teams, but as far as the state of New Jersey goes.
I completely agree. I think we are seeing two of the best teams here, and I think this game so far has showed it. Crowd's on their feet, everybody ready to rock here for the second half. Hopefully they don't sit down for the whole second half, because they really do provide a punch and a boost for this Buccaneer team.
Well, I mean, maybe just 1 or 2 of them so that you can see the court time.
No, I'm good. I got the monitor in front of me. I'm ready to rock. I hope this place goes bananas.
And we'll see if they will do so, as Blair will start with the ball here in the third quarter, looking to give this place a reason to go bananas. It's Brett Lubreski on the outside, started things off for the Buccaneers. He gets it in to Burns. Now it's Delaney taking a jump shot, knocking it down. And it's a 1-point game, 23-22, 7:41 left here in his third quarter of basketball. Here still very early on. This is Marcus McDuffie for the Friars. Now it's R.J. Colt being guarded by Donovan Wright. Cole dishes off. Now it's Thompson down low, going up with the right hand on the layup, and hits the Friars' first 2 points of this third quarter. 25-22 the score. Lubreski on the outside for Blair. Fires one, tries to get it into Tim Delaney, but ends up getting tipped by the Friars, and it'll go out of bounds. It'll stay Blair ball. 7:10 left here in the third. 25-22 is the score in favor of St. Anthony.
And when the Friars really ramp it up defensively, you can see how difficult it is for an offense, how frustrating it can get.
On the outside, going up for 3 was Matt Turner, but he had that one swatted into the crowd. Good job defensively by Jagan Mosley of the Friars. And it's not often you see a 3-point shot get blocked like that, but my goodness, what athleticism by Mosley.
Yeah, and Thompson also doing a great job closing out there. This is a St. Anthony team that has come out very, very fired up, ready to rock here in the second half.
Tim Delaney tried to shovel one over to Elijah Burns. It ended up going out of bounds. Looked like just a little miscommunication that time between Delaney and Burns. So now the Friars will have it. They'll try and expand on their 3-point lead here with less than 7 minutes left here in the third. That's Mosley up top for the Friars. He now gets over to the right for R.J. Colt. Back to Mosley for 3, and in and out. But the ball is rebounded by the Friars, and Thompson is going to have an easy layup. What a game he's having. 13 points already.
And they can't just have one guy underneath crashing the boards. That needs to be a team effort, or else they're going to continue to get outworked on the glass.
And here, after a good full court press by the Friars, you're either going to say the ball went out or a 10-second violation. I'm not sure. It was close to either one, quite frankly. I
think it might have hit the line there, Joe.
Yeah, I was going to say, I believe they're going to say it just went out of bounds. And a whistle and a blocking foul called here on Tim Delaney. As Mosley was trying to get around it. St. Anthony to inbound from right in front of the student section. It's got to be pretty intimidating to do. Just stand there with all that chanting going right in your ears behind you.
Well, one thing about being one of the best teams in the country every single year is that you're pretty used to these big crowds.
Cole outside for three. He had a tip by Lubreski. Good job on defense the other way by Brett Lubreski, coming up with either a block or at least disrupting that shot. 27-22 the score in favor of St. Anthony. 5:40 left here in the third. Lubreski's got it on the outside, tries to get around Cole. Now he ends up getting double teamed. He feeds one into the high post for Delaney. Now kick to the corner, three ball coming. Yes!
And if Turner is going to be that guy today, Joe, that we talked about, to be able to knock down those open threes when St. Anthony's really puts the pressure on, and Blair is going to be in this to the end. They need Turner to knock those down. They need to knock down those open opportunities when they get them. Outstanding job of Lubreski to find Turner, and a great job finishing by the sophomore.
Thompson goes up on Delaney, and with his hands in his face, is able to get it to fall. Gotta tell you, Tareen Thompson been very impressive out there on the floor today. Leads all scorers with 15 points. Rescue going the other way, ends up getting fouled. It's going to be the first team foul of the second half going against St. Anthony. 29-25 the score, 4:55 left here in this third quarter. Checking in for St. Anthony is Joyner. Going to have a seat is Caleb Bishop. Off the inbound, ball goes to Donovan Wright. Tried to get one to Delaney. It ended up just skipping out of bounds. And once again, some miscommunication that time by the Bucks. Cole directs traffic as he brings it across the logo. Now gets a return feed here from Thompson. Swings it over to Mosley, now back to Cole. Over to Thompson, down low. He goes up with a shot, no good. And it's rebounded by Turner. Now Turner goes up quickly, shot a little bit strong, rebounded by McDuffie, and he's got some room to run, but a good job by Lubreski. Get back in his way to head off the fast break. Now St. Anthony, it's McDuffie up top for three, no good, rebounded by Elijah Burns. Delaney's got it in the low block, turns around, goes up, has a shot blocked by Thompson. Goes out of bounds, showing up on the defensive end too.
Thompson really, really impressive here today. At both ends of the floor, Joe, blocking shots, throwing it down, making tough baskets inside. He's been outstanding for the Friars.
Lubreski catches the long inbound pass. Now it's Delaney back to Lubreski. Looking to drive towards the hoop, scoops, goes up, no good with the shot, and it's rebounded out of bounds. Last touched, I believe they're going to say, by the Friars. And so it'll be Bucks ball. And Tom, like you said, I mean, a lot of talent on this St. Anthony team. McDuffie, of course, going to Wichita State, has made a couple of nice athletic plays today, but the player you've got to be impressed the most with is McDuffie. Goes up and lays it in with the right hand. It has got to be Thompson.
I completely agree. And McDuffie has made some just remarkable plays as well. Thompson's really playing well. He's playing well both ends of the floor. He's really, really making it difficult for Blair to get back into this game and tie it up.
Yeah, certainly. And like you say, McDuffie, you can also just see the bright future that this kid has got ahead of him. 6'8", 190, so some plenty of room to grow. And as he gets stronger, combine that with how athletic he is right now, he's got a very special future.
He packs on that college freshman 15, which turned into like a senior 65 for me. He'll be pretty solid.
It's Turner knocking it down from the free throw line. He's starting to heat up from the floor now, Tom. 31-27 the score in favor of the Friars. And for Turner, he's now got 8 points to lead the Bucks, averaging 13 per game. Left corner, that's Shaquan Gibbs. Now he Gibbs back out. St. Anthony will slow things down here. 3 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. What's been a low-scoring affair to this point. Cole for 3, no good. Rebound by Turner. Brings it across. We get towards the basket himself right now. And will eventually pass it up top for Delaney. Up fake for 3. Now drives in a little bit, goes up, and has a shot blocked by McDuffie. Now coming fast on the other play is Mosley, and he slams it down with the right hand. And a timeout taken by the Bucks. What a play by Jagan Mosley on the fast break to go up and dunk with one hand. Just 6'3", but what elevation.
And we'll take a look at this from start to finish to see how the Friars were able to get possession in the first place. Good defensive play there. Mosley, great pass, and look at the finish. That's how you just make sure, just make sure it goes in. That's a pretty efficient way right there. That'll get you every single time. And you can't help but to think of last week before the Rose Bowl when they interviewed Mark Helfrich, and they said, how do you keep the stage in perspective? What do you do to keep the kids from getting nervous at this big of a stage? And he said, you know what? We just do our deal. And that's really what it was. We just do our deal. Oregon came out, put it on Florida State. Not comparing the games here, but St. Anthony's has gone back to just doing their deal. And they've been very, very successful so far here in the second half. They're pressing. They're putting a lot of pressure on defensively. They're trapping, getting buckets in transition, and they're doing a great job.
They certainly are. And well, for the Bucks, it's not that they've necessarily come out flat here in this second half, but that spark that they had at the beginning of that second quarter doesn't really seem to be there right now.
No, it doesn't. I think I don't think the Bucks are playing poorly. I think St. Anthony's has really elevated their game here in the second half. I think Blair needs to do so tenfold to get back into it.
Of course, despite all that, it's still only a 6-point game here with just about 10.5 minutes of basketball left to play overall. 2.5 of those coming here in this quarter. Blair will inbound. It'll be Delaney looking to get it into somebody, but once again, St. Anthony with the full court press. He gets it into Turner. Turner gets trapped, and the ball nearly stolen away by the Friars, but a good job by Elijah Burns just being in the right place. And now the other way, it's Wright laying it in with the right hand.
And that's the explosiveness and athleticism of Donovan Wright for you right there. You just get him with a full head of steam going towards the basket. More than likely, he's either going to go to the line or he's going to finish it.
I got to tell you, Cornell's getting one heck of a basketball play.
They are. And put some pads on him, throw him on a football field, and you might have a prospect.
On the outside, it's Cole. Little bounce pass from Mosley, stepping out for 3 and knocking it down. So we've seen on these last couple of possessions for St. Anthony's, Mosley not only dunk, but stepping out and hitting the 3 as well. Does a little bit of everything there on offense for the Friars.
And St. Anthony, if there's one thing that they haven't done extremely well today, it's shoot the 3. If they can get that going and start finishing from beyond the arc, it could be trouble for the Bucks.
Yeah, they're not a team that hits an overwhelming number of 3s, just 25 in their first 7 games coming into action today. Now it's Delaney down low, getting fouled and hitting the basket. Or was that Delaney? Couldn't quite see who it was because I've got about 3 students standing in front of me, and it was not. And take a look at the replay here.
That is our buddy Brett Lubreski finishing, getting the crowd rocking. We'll take one more look at it. Really nice play by Lubreski, the senior, one of the leaders of this team. Take a look, start to finish here as he finishes. Another great lay-in from the senior.
So Lubreski heads to the free throw line. Goes up and a little bit strong on the free throw. Rebounded by McDuffie. 36-31 the score in favor of St. Anthony. Just under a minute 20 left here in the third quarter. It's carried across here by Jagan Mosley. Starting to heat up from the floor and hit it the 3 on the last possession. So that thunderous dunk just a couple minutes back. That's Gibbs. Gibbs swings it back over to Cole, driving the baseline, and a good job down low on defense by Lubreski, drawing that charge as Cole tried to drive the baseline.
Really nice job by Lubreski. He's starting to feel it as well, making plays on both ends of the floor. He's got the hot hand and the hot feet.
Oh, with shoes that color, how could you not? Inbound by Spencer Osborne. He gets it over to Donovan Wright. Takes it across here. Under a minute left. As Wright will now just hand off to Turner. Turner's going to get whistled for a travel. It goes right back to St. Anthony. So as soon as Blair seems to get a little bit of momentum, well, looks like they've given it right back to the Friars. 36-31, 53.7 seconds left. On the floor for the Buccaneers, it's Lubreski, Burns, Turner, Wright, and Osborne. Right now that's Mosley with the ball. He has it knocked out of his hands by Turner, but he's able to recover and feed it back out to Gibbs. Now over to a cutting Caleb Bishop on the baseline, goes up with the shot, knocks it down. 38-31. Now under 30 seconds remain here in the third quarter. Turner's got to try and get it across against a monstrous press by the Friars. They tip it out, and they nearly steal away. Now they will come up with it. Mosley feeds Hayes. Now over to Bishop, going up with a shot. He gets that one to fall. 40-31 now the score in favor of the Friars. 6 seconds left. Lubreski gets trapped in the backcourt, gets it out though to Burns. Now over to Turner, goes up for three from the left wing at the buzzer. No good. And so, Tom, that concludes the third quarter. 40-31 in favor of St. Anthony. They started to pull away a little bit there.
Yeah, biggest lead for the Friars. Thompson now at 15. He's having a fantastic game. And Mosley with 12, who had that thunderous dunk, playing really good defense, and he had a three that he banged there as part of that run, too. So, lead is not insurmountable, but a really good quarter by St. Anthony's.
Yeah, they scored 17 points in that third quarter versus just 11 for Blair, and were able, like we said, to extend their lead up to 9. Not insurmountable as we head into the fourth quarter, but certainly very tough against a good team like this.
It really is. I want to get to something real quick here, Joe. We have two Blair Buccaneers that are playing for the number 2 ranked University of Virginia basketball team, and here's Coach Montagna, Mariel Shyok, and Mike Tobey.
I love to send these guys to places where they're going to continue their growth as players. When you send kids to play for Tony Bennett at Virginia, for example, you know, Mariel and Mike Tobey have made such great gains in their games and in their bodies, and their bodies of work have really, you know, Tobey has a chance to be an NBA player himself, and Mariel's playing huge minutes as a freshman. Yeah, it's a great feeling, you know, and it's more of a feeling of I'm blessed to have been able to coach them, though. You know, those guys were both very talented when they arrived at Blair. I mean, it wasn't like they couldn't walk and chew gum when they got here, and I turned them into ACC players. So, you know, I'm very blessed to get to coach the likes of those guys.
And both Tobey and Shyok getting some really, really significant minutes for this Virginia team, who just moved to number 2 in the rankings as Duke was knocked off by North Carolina State this weekend. Really, really cool thing to see two players that you coached playing at such a high level that are going to continue to play at a really high level and potentially have a shot to play in the NBA.
And certainly, like you said, Virginia, one of the top teams in the country, getting significant minutes. That is big for the program as well, and being able to recruit some guys up here to be able to continue to point to guys who they'll recognize from these big teams.
Another way to get some prospective students to come to Blair Academy, pull out some big wins like this one here today.
Going up for three, McDuffie from the corner, no good. Got a whistle on a loose ball foul. And going, I believe, against Elijah Burns.
Relatively clean game foul-wise, Joe, and not too many fouls called in either the first or second half, especially not on the floor.
Yeah, just in his second half, 2 fouls against the Bucks and 4 against the Friars. Down low, going up with a shot. Missing on the first attempt was Caleb Bishop, but he grabbed his own rebound and was able to get the putback.
Bishop's got
11-point lead.
6 points in the last 90 seconds, so he's really starting to turn it on here, too, for the Friars.
Lubreski stepped down the line that time as he was trying to get around the press. And, well, things starting to unravel a little bit here over the last couple of minutes for the Bucks.
Can't let this one get out of control. Can't let the momentum swing too far in St. Anthony's favor here. Bucks got to get a stop on this possession.
It seems like Friars' press is really starting to, though, catch up with them. And they got to come up with something here to try and neutralize it. What that is, don't quite know at this point, but I'm sure if there is something, Coach Montagna will come up with it. On the outside, it's Mosley. Guarded loosely by Libreski now, drives in, gives to McDuffie, tries to drive the baseline, goes up with a shot as it blocked by Donovan Wright, but collecting and getting one to go was who else but Caleb Bishop.
I think right before a 5-second violation could have been called, Joe. The referee called time because Elijah Byrne was shaken up a little bit. So I don't know if he has to come out of the game now. I don't think he does. But seems to be okay. He is upright, walking around under his own power.
Tim Delaney will come into the game as Spencer Osborne as the player will head to the bench for the Bucks. Delaney will inbound from right in front of the Friars bench. Gets a bounce pass into Matt Turner. They'll try something to head off this press. Delaney gets it across as Burns now driving in, gets tripped up, heads down to the floor, and that's going to be a foul called against St. Anthony. A fifth team foul here in this second half. Third on the floor, so it'll be an inbound play coming here. Brett Libreski will be the trigger from the near side of the court. Now whistle, and they're going to just take out the mop and clean up a little bit of the area where Burns fell down. Got a nice little applause here from the fans. Fans appreciate the virtues of a clean court almost as much as the players, Tom.
They sure do.
On the outside, it's Turner looking to drive the baseline. Goes up, nearly has it blocked by McDuffie as he banked it high off the glass. Shot was no good. And it's rebounded by the Friars. Javaris Hayes, this player bringing it up. Hayes, one of the smaller players on the Friars, 5'11", 175, the junior guard. Now it's McDuffie giving over to his left for Jagan Mosley. Mosley guarded by Libreski. Has to pass it back out to Hayes. Now swings it around, and that's Shaquan Gibbs. And Gibbs gets struck on the sideline, and a whistle and a timeout taken here by Bob Hurley. Good job defensively on that possession by Blair, forcing the trap, and then a timeout by St. Anthony.
Especially by Donovan Wright, moving his feet and not letting his man get by him. But this is where, this is kind of scary time if you're a Buccaneer fan, because this is where St. Anthony really thrives. When they have a team reeling, when they have a team kind of on the ropes, as Blair is right now, this is where they really take advantage. They've been here so many times before, Joe. So this is where you really see how much art you have as a program, and that toughness that Coach Montagna was talking about, that should be put on full display here to see if they can really get back into this game and compete at the final buzzer.
Right now they are behind, though, by 13 points, 44-31. And what was a very tight first half has been almost all St. Anthony here in the second. And perhaps that time out there, like you were saying, Tom, perhaps a blessing in disguise for Blair, because now they get the chance to talk some things over without having to burn one of their own.
Could be. I'm more confused here that over the number of coaches that St. Anthony has. I'm not sure I've seen a coaching staff this bountiful.
There's almost more coaches than players. One for every two. It's a pretty good ratio anyway. McDuffie drives the baseline, but good defense played that time by Delaney. Was able to deny him the shot. Now it's taken the other way by Burns. It gives back up to Delaney. Rabel is one all the way to the corner for Turner, who was able to keep his feet in bounds as he caught it. Now it goes down low to right. He misjudged the strength on the shot, but it's rebounded offensively by the Bucks. And a whistle. And foul call here going against St. Anthony. They're going to get McDuffie on a block.
Really nice effort from Elijah Burns on that rebound, and then the wherewithal to save it, go behind his back and find John Noel. See if Blair can capitalize on that great effort by their captain.
Right, the trigger tries to get it in, but as the pass blocked right back in his face by Marcus McDuffie, so We'll come around, bring out the mop, and we'll try it all again as soon as that moisture is taken off the court.
Coach Strauss doing a phenomenal job, as he always does. Crowd pleaser.
Get it into Turner in the right corner. He dribbles it out back towards center. Controls on the right wing. Sent over to John Noel. Now it's Wright. Wright driving, goes up, has the ball stripped out of his hands. Looked like it was R.J. Cole make the play defensively for the Friars, forcing the turnover. St. Anthony with it. It's Cole. Guarded pretty well by Wright. Wright went for the steal, a whistle and a foul call. It's going to be the third personal foul going against Donovan Wright. The home fans not necessarily happy with that one.
No, but hey, let me tell you something. Coach Jim Stone runs as tight a ship as possible. Any kind of chant or anything out of line, he steps right in, shuts it down before it can even get off the ground.
I was going to say, if only he was there back in your days at Hunt, you'd have had a lot less fun.
Well, that is true. That certainly is. Timeout on the court. We'll be back right after this. You're watching Blair St. Anthony basketball here on Strive.
Back inside Hardwick Hall, Joe Basile alongside Tom Monfiletto. This is Blair Academy basketball on Strive TV, taking on the St. Anthony Friars tonight. 44-31. The Friars lead with about 5 minutes and 14 seconds remaining here in his fourth quarter. And if Blair's going to start to come back and try and make this one a game in the final minutes, that comeback's got to start now, Tom.
It really does. The effort needs to be ramped up on defense. Turnovers need to be had. They need to be really efficient offensively. Basically have to play a perfect 5 minutes here.
On the outside, a nice crossover by Hayes as he went to the basket. He was fouled. And they're going to wave off the basket because McDuffie touched the ball. And that is much to the chagrin of Bob Hurley. That one was going in, whether McDuffie touched it or not, and they wave it off because he then went and interfered.
Well, now we're drying up this end of the court. Coach Stone getting the job done here, taking things into his own hands.
A little bit less cheering coming this time, though. Settle sent Hayes to the free throw line as the crowd ramps up the chants. And he's good on the first. So make it 45-31 as Noel will have a seat on the bench for Blair. Got their starting five out there on the court now with 4:54 left. Second free throw is good as well. So Hayes goes 2 for 2 from the free throw line. Make it 46-31. There's Turner. I'll try and take it across by Hayes, and whistle and a travel called is, and that time Matt Turner just got a little crossed up. So he was looking to get rid of the ball. Hayes will be the trigger here for the Friars, up by 15 with 4:50 left in the game. They just inbounded deep back all the way in the backcourt for R.J. Cole. Brings across the logo, guarded by Wright. Back to Cole, over now to Javaris Hayes. So just swinging around the outside here, trying to tick some time off the clock. Will the Friars? Why not if you've got the ability to? Corner three coming here from McDuffie, and he drains it.
And that is just a textbook kind of stall offense. Work the ball around the perimeter, eventually find somebody wide open. Just happen to go to one of your best players.
49-31 is right, or check that, Burns rather, tried to give one to Delaney, went off the foot of Caleb Bishop and rolled out of bounds. So Blair keeps the ball here. 4:09 left in the fourth. 49-31 the score in favor of St. Anthony. They get it into Turner. Takes it across here in the front court right. Down low Delaney. He ends up getting fouled here.
He might have gotten poked in the eye or something there, Joe. He's down for a little bit, got his face in his hands.
Yeah, certainly it looked like Hayes got Delaney somewhere up in the face area. Perhaps, like you said, Tom, might have gotten poked in the eye a little bit here, but hopefully he'll be all right, though he appears to be in a good amount of pain right now.
Able to get up on his feet under his own power. Coach Strauss tending to him. See if he's able to stay on the court or not. This isn't like football where he has to come off.
Looks like they are going to take him out. Spencer Osborne gets set to check in. Although we'll see if it is, in fact, for Delaney. He's going to shoot free throws. So, yeah, Delaney not going to be able to stay in this game, at least for now, as Spencer Osborne will come on. He'll be the one who shoots the free throws, and a nice hand here by the Blair crowd. Delaney will go over and be tended to at the end of the bench. Meanwhile, Osborne heads to the line with 3:56 left. And it's the first of the one-on-one. As that was the 7th team foul going against St. Anthony's. He's good on the second. So Osborne goes 2 for 2. The Bucks been very good from the free throw line in this game, but they still trail 49-33. Here with inside 3:50 left in the game. Mosley gives to Bishop down low. There's McDuffie. That one a fall. 51-33. With 3:33 remaining. Taking it across is Burns as Friars backed off their press that time. Not quite as tenacious with it as they were early. Outside a deep three for Libreski. Shot no good. Rebound. Skips out of bounds and it's going to roll out. Looks like last touch by Blair, so it'll be Friars' ball. As well, this one's starting to wind down. Still a sizable lead for St. Anthony, and a whistle and a foul call here. It's going to go against Turner. So we'll get things all reset. St. Anthony will inbound. Get it into R.J. Cole, sophomore. Playing the guard position here this evening. Over to Mosley, swing around the perimeter. Finds its way to Javaris Hayes. Back to Mosley, over to Cole, guarded by Turner. Under 3 minutes remaining as once again the Friars into their kind of stall offense down. They're swinging it around the outside, taking some time off the clock, or as much as possible, where they worry about getting the shot off. And they're nearly getting trapped was Hayes, but he was able to get it out to Cole. Now a bounce pass onto the baseline for McDuffie. And he was fouled as he went up for the shot by Burns.
That looked like a pretty good D down here, but a little bit of contact. And Joe, when you get St. Anthony's in a situation where they are kind of forced to rely on their fundamentals to finish a game out, dribbling, passing, it's going to be very, very difficult to come back into a game. So this is the state that they hope to get their opponents in. And this is where they thrive. And they've done a great job. It was a fantastic game for probably 2.5 quarters, I'd say. And then St. Anthony was able to pull away.
And you know what, Tom? There's no shame, really, in losing a game to St. Anthony's. Many teams have done it. Many teams will continue to do it. That's why they're one of the best teams in the state and in the entire country.
And it's
and that they were able to hang with them for so long is, obviously there are no moral victories, but if you're going to take a positive out of this one, it's that you were able to hang with them for so long before you started digging a little bit of a hole for yourself to climb out of.
And just the fact that they played them, and they know what the best in the state looks like. They know what D1 scholarship guys look like. This is exactly what Coach Mantegna said when we spoke to him last week. But now they've played St. Anthony, they've played Roselle Catholic, they played the Tinton School from New Hampshire. They've played some really, really good teams going into conference play now. They play Hun at Hun on Wednesday, which should be a really good game. And they have a bunch of Maple games coming up. We'll take a look at their schedule a little bit later. But this does nothing but prepare them for the rest of the season.
Now is Caleb Bishop with a two-handed dunk. That time for the Friars. Timeout taken by Blair. And, Tom, when we take a look at that schedule right now that you were just talking about, we have the opportunity.
Yeah, so Hun coming up this Wednesday at Hun, and then they have Patterson Eastside, which is always a very, very strong team, and that will be away at a tournament. Then they'll travel to Petty next Wednesday. We'll be covering that. That'll be a Strive doubleheader. It'll be the girls' game at 4, followed by the boys' game at 5:30. Then you have Hill, Mercersburg, St. Benedict's. St. Benedict's always has a very, very strong squad. Trinity Pauling, team from Connecticut, or for, I believe, upstate New York, Connecticut border maybe. And obviously you have Pope John February 4th, which we will be covering as well. And Pope John is another outstanding team. So the out-of-conference schedule here for the Buccaneers, as it always is, very, very strong.
And, that's one of those things that, maybe it affects your record early on in the season, and you don't have that glamorous record heading into conference play that maybe you would have had if you had an easier schedule. But in the long run, it only serves to make the team better and prepare it better for the tough games down the road.
I think so. I mean, I think there's just so much to learn from a game like this, and knowing what it took to be in the lead, to have the lead, and to know what happened when you let that slip away and let it get worse and snowball. And unfortunately, that's been the issue for Blair this year, is when they've gotten down against some of these really good teams, they've been able to be put away pretty easily, and that usually happens in the fourth quarter. So I think toughness is still something that the team is going to work on, and that kind of mental toughness and emotional toughness to be able to withstand a big deficit and come back from it. So that's something that the team is going to look to grow on and to grow from and learn from this game. And obviously there's no question about the talent on this team. We've seen it today. We've seen it throughout the season. And this is a team that I still believe is destined to do great things this season.
And they certainly have the ability to do so, though. Down now by 20 with just over a minute remaining here in the fourth to St. Anthony. And, Tom, there's that whole school of thought, just to continue building off what you said, that the way that you get better is by playing teams that are better. So that not only you play up to their level, but you see what they do, you experience what they do, and then you don't necessarily try to mimic it, but you draw from that experience, from seeing that on the court, and try to incorporate that into your own game as well.
Yeah, and I think the big goal for Blair, the two goals when you start out a basketball season here in the Prep A and the Maple League, you want to win the Prep A championship and you want to win the Maple championship. So a loss like this and a loss of Roselle Catholic might look bad in the papers, and it might contribute to a perception of you from the outside that isn't ideal. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because you still have a Prep championship to win, and you still have a Maple championship to win, and that's what they're going to be focused on from here on out.
As now it looks like Blair will start to empty the bench a little bit. Noel is in. Zach Dow just checked in to the game as well. 55-35, 18 seconds remain in this one. St. Anthony with the ball, and it looks like they're just going to try and hog up the rest of this time, although Bresky is a very aggressive defense, committing a foul, and that will send Shaquan Gibbs to the free throw line to shoot 1 and 1.
And Joe, I got to give it up to this crowd who came out in serious numbers here today. Were loud the whole time, stayed energetic throughout.
And really most of them stuck around here despite the scoreboard. I mean, just now with 8 seconds left, you see some people start to file out, but they stuck around the entire time, really supporting this team despite what the scoreboard said. There's something to be said for that as well.
Absolutely. think is still, no matter what the score is, probably a little bit more fun than doing homework, but got to give it to them nonetheless.
I don't know, algebra could be kind of fun.
Sometimes. You know what? When you solve for X, that's a good feeling.
Blair will have it here, 5 seconds left as Osborne takes it across, dribbling down, goes up with a shot at the buzzer, a little bit strong, and that will do it. 57-35, the final score in favor of St. Anthony here this evening. And Tom, well, the first half lived up to a lot of the hype that we thought it was going to. A good matchup. In the second half, though, a little bit of a different story as St. Anthony took the reins of this one and was able to run off with the 22-point victory.
Yeah, it was back and forth for a while there. It was a great effort from Blair. It was a great effort from St. Anthony the entire time. Blair had the lead there, but like we said throughout, St. Anthony wants to get you in a certain position where you're back on your heels. They got Blair in that position, and from then on, the game was pretty much over because they had him exactly where they wanted him. They took advantage of it, and that's what they do. They get a team on their heels, and they pounce. When they smell blood in the water, they really attack, and that's exactly what they did today.
Yeah, I think that's exactly the analogy to make there. They sense a little bit of weakness, a little bit of urgency on Blair's part when maybe they didn't need to have it, and they pounced, they capitalized on those opportunities. And, you know, that's what good teams do. They get the opportunities, and then they capitalize on them, and that's what makes them good teams.
It is, and that's something that Blair can certainly learn from. And, you know, when they get into Maple play and they get into the Prep A, the tournaments here towards the end of the season, I'm sure they're going to look to do the same exact thing to their opponents because this is a team that is not without talent. This is a team not without skill and size. And they got the tools there. They just need to figure out a way to put it all together. And they did for about 2.5 quarters against one of, if not the best team in the state.
And unfortunately, though, the game was 57-35 was the final here. Once again, thank you very much for spending your Monday evening here with us. Go watch the national championship game coming up in about, say, half an hour?
Maybe. You had all the rigmarole that goes on beforehand, so it'll probably start at about 8:45.
Either way, for everybody here at Strive, Tom Monfoletto, I'm Joe Vasile. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next time.